Welcome to Adam's Den.
I got to watch Mortal Kombat 2021 last night, and I got to tell you, man, what a ride. It's a fun, action-packed movie with really, really good directing, and the special effects, my God. This special effects team needs to be praised. What a wonderful job. Now, this is coming from someone who lived through the 90s and who was a fan of the original 1995 Mortal Kombat. I mean, there's a lot there to appreciate as well. It's the special effects of 1995's Mortal Kombat didn't age that well, that's for sure. But it was also, just like this one, a really fun, action-packed movie. It was a thrill ride. Now, one thing that the 1995 version had that this one doesn't have is like this really awesome soundtrack. I mean, people who, like me, lived through the 90s and experienced this movie when it came out, we still have that... we still have the soundtrack in our minds. It was even played in clubs. So watching Mortal Kombat back then, it was like pretty much going to a club, but you get to enjoy these fight choreographies, really wonderfully made as well. Again, the special effects didn't age that well. There were some casting problems and some sloppy writing, let's call it that. But it had really good performances, like the one, like everybody remembers Cary Tagawa's Shang Tsung, right? Everybody remembers that, one of the best characters in the movie. And who can forget Christopher Lambert as Lord Raiden? I mean, come on. It was very campy, but it was really, really good. It was also a lot of fun. And the same thing can be said about this one. It's not as campy as the 1995 one was, definitely. It's grim, but it's also lighthearted at times. Has a lot of action. You will not have a shortage of action sequences in this movie. The acting overall is really good. The casting was pretty well done. Even though it doesn't have Johnny Cage, it does have this new character, Cole Young, played by Louis Tan, who does a satisfactory job. He's on par with everybody else. You also have Kano. Kano is awesome in this movie. Both 1995 versions of Kano and this one were really cool, but this one, Josh Lawson, what a good job, man. What a good job. Also, I don't really know any of these actors from any other movies, apart from the current Shang Tsung, played by Shin Han, who was one of the villains. I guess we could call him the Chinese mobster in Dark Knight by Christopher Nolan. And apart from that, I don't really see any other actors that I remember, which is also cool. They did a really good job. Again, the special effects, you gotta witness this. This is amazing. Oh, there is one other actor that I love. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but I'm gonna try it anyway. It's Hiroyuki Sanada. He plays Hanzo Asashi or Scorpion, and I love this guy in roles like this. He's so good for these parts. If you don't remember him, he was one of the Japanese samurai in The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise, another great movie, and he did a tremendous job in that one as well. I think he's really well cast in these sorts of roles, and this is no exception. Now, one thing that I didn't really like about this movie, it's not just about this movie, it happens in a lot of action movies, is you have this warrior-type character, right? And to give him a motivation, someone close to him is either killed or suffers a tragedy or whatever, and they are then motivated to seek revenge or to set the record straight. But it's always the same trope. Right before the tragedy happens, this warrior-like figure has this intense emotional moment with the characters that they're about to lose. And I mean, I just wish that people stopped doing this because it's such an overused trope. It means nothing. We can see it coming a mile away. And I really wish that filmmakers nowadays would just find creative solutions for these characters. Like if he needs a motivation that is really overwhelming to the point that you will use whatever's left of your entire life to pursue a goal, then there are other motivations other than this one. But again, overall, a really good movie, great special effects. I cannot stop talking about how great these special effects are. And the fight choreographies, man, these are really good. especially before they get all of these, let's say, enhancements. I don't want to spoil it too much for you, but if you're a fan of the Mortal Kombat games, you know that there are these extreme abilities that these characters have. However, before they acquire them in the movie, you get to see these really cool fight choreographies, especially the one with Cole Young in the ring. Man, I wish that action directors had this level of minutia shooting these kinds of fighting sequences, because in this one you can feel every punch, every kick, every knee to the chest. It's really, really brutal, and you get excited as an audience member watching this fight sequence. You get excited because it seems so real. Kudos to the director for that one. Really well done. And also, we got to talk about the music. In 1995's Mortal Kombat, one of the main things was the music. It was so powerful and eccentric. It was like going to a club. It was techno, it was vibrant, it was powerful. And for everybody who watched that movie back then, I mean, even today, we've memorized it. We can think of that song, the theme of the 1995 Mortal Kombat. And not just that one. The entire soundtrack was kind of follow the same pace. This is something that you cannot say about the 2021 Mortal Kombat, and that's a shame, because I think one of the major selling points of the original one in 1995 was actually the music. It was very intense and it was fun. It was like going to a club, but you get to experience all of these fight choreographies and beautifully shot sequences. It was really good. It was really good. So it's a shame that this one didn't go that route, even though there is one moment or another where you can hear the Mortal Kombat theme. So overall, if you want to watch Mortal Kombat 2021, I certainly recommend it. You're going to have a fun time. If you want to turn off your brain for like an hour and a half or 2 hours, this is a great movie to do that and enjoy while they're doing it. And especially because there are no politics in this movie. It's just fun, and this is what the people want, I guess. We're sick of having politics crammed into properties that don't really ask for them. Like, it's really good when you have a movie that is destined to exploring a social issue or a political issue. It's really good. One of my favorite movies of all time is Philadelphia with Tom Hanks. And I'm always, every time I think about a really good movie from the 90s, that one comes to mind because the performances are amazing, the script is amazing, and it was approaching a social issue that was very relevant, especially at the time. And his chemistry with Antonio Banderas was really good, and Denzel Washington did a really good job as well, as always, I guess. So yeah, Philadelphia is a great movie as well, but it was meant to talk about a social issue. Then you have others like Ides of March with Ryan Gosling and George Clooney, a movie that was destined to talk about political issues. Great movie. You have Wag the Dog. Wag the Dog is one of my all-time favorite movies as well. Also meant to approach social and political issues. But these movies have their own space, just like Mortal Kombat does. And in this space, this is what you want. So I can't recommend it enough. If you want to have fun, this is a good way to go. I haven't watched Godzilla vs. Kong. I guess it would fall into the same kind of category where you can just enjoy a fun, action-packed movie. But to be honest, I'm not really being pulled to that one. But this one, I used to play the games up until Mortal Kombat 3. I think that's where I stopped. But I always loved the franchise, and it's good to see it. And it's good to see someone making it justice in the film format. So I'm pretty sure you're going to enjoy this one. But after you watch it, please let me know what you thought in the comments below. I'm really curious about other people's opinions other than my own. Obviously, this is why I do this. So remember to subscribe, leave a like if you enjoy this little review, if you can call it that. And remember to comment below. Also, especially, if you've watched the 1995 one, who, by the way, I gotta say this as well. The 1995 Mortal Kombat didn't have that trope that I was talking about earlier with the warrior and the intense emotional moment before the tragedy. There are such moments in the movie, but it's not a romantic. It's not based on romance. It's a different level, and I think it was a little more in tune with what the characters of this franchise need in terms of motivation. But if you watched the 1995, especially if you've rewatched it recently and then this one, I want to know your thoughts on this 2021 Mortal Kombat. So leave them down in the comment section below. Remember to subscribe, like, share. You know what to do. It's 2021. I don't need to remind you of all this. So I hope you enjoyed this little review, and I'll see you next time.